Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be comparing some of my favorite scenes in Critical Role in the Legend of Vox Machina, the Jenga incident, and Your Soul, It's Forfeit. Longtime fans of Critical Role will know all about the legendary Jenga scene as well as Percy's infamous line, but there's so many new fans to the show, I thought it would be fun to compare the two. Remember, if you enjoyed the video but learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel a lot. Go check out some of our other Legend of Vox Machina content, like our Easter egg videos as well as our episode breakdowns. Let's crack on. So already we begin with a number of differences. Just like in the animated series, Vox Machina attends a formal dinner party attended by the new Lords of Whitestone and Percy's arch enemies, Lord and Lady Briarwood. Unlike the show, however, Vax does not sneak into their room alone. In fact, he walks right in on the Lord and Lady. Let's have a look.
The rug kind of against the wall between the two windows is a large canopy bed, and on the far end you can see now against one of the tables is Lady Briarwood is currently taking jewelry off of one of her arms, while Lord Briarwood is right by the bed holding on kind of the post, like he's kind of just walked over that area.
They're both at the bed?
They're both at the bed,
right.
And they're both looking in your direction.
I got a 25 for stealth?
Yep.
Yeah, didn't work.
Both looking in your direction.
All right. And I heard a body fall, I thought. Sounded like a body fell.
They both kind of step a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at you.
I'm backing up as I'm talking. I'm right at the door.
You back up to the door right there, and
I didn't shut it behind me. I just kind of cracked it open.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Lady Briarwood goes,
Yep.
"You look strangely similar to a gentleman we just had dinner with."
That's crazy.
It's uncanny how similar you look.
Yeah. And I run. I just run. I ran.
You get to make a wisdom save is what you're
Jenga!
It's not good. It's an 8.
You turn to move and your muscles tense up as you're unable
they're holding
to
you.
physically move.
This is awkward, ma'am. I'm just trying to do my job.
You're halfway through the doorway, stuck in place, as she keeps walking forward now. You know, curious look. Lord Briarwood kind of comes and flanks you from the other side. You try and flee. I'm merely asking you questions. Come, let us discuss in more private quarters.
Actually, pretty spot on from Legends of Vox Machina here. Vax tries to run past the power couple, but is stopped by Silas Briarwood, who casts Hold Person, freezing the half-elf in place. Originally, when I first watched this in the animated series, I thought he used Charm Person because of the special effects on his eyes, but it is in fact Hold Person. I just forgot. They really nailed the scene though, even down to much of the voice lines. There's some stark differences. Obviously, the scenes in the show are drastically shorter due to 25-minute time runs. Vax tries to lie to him. There's a bunch of little banter back and forth here. Let's have a look.
As he pulls you forward, the Lord kind of whispers in your ear.
You are a curious one, and not quite gifted with the silver tongue. Foolhardiness has not been common of a guest of the Briarwoods.
For a moment, there's this kind of pause, this tension, this silence, and Delilah, Lady Briarwood, kind of puts her hand out further and says, "Yet, my love, we are not here to make enemies, nor raise suspicion. We are merely protecting ourselves from intrusion. Isn't that right?" As she looks at you and looks immediately to your right, where you can feel just the general presence of Lord Briarwood. I need you to go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
18.
It's an 18.
What was
You're so
that?
demure.
How much?
You're saying.
I'm frozen.
18.
You feel your muscles relax, and the sweat that is still brimming across your face, you feel for the first time in these moments that seem to just stretch on forever, you have control of your body. Though you do feel the hand of Lord Briarwood right on your shoulder, who now at this point, as you become conscious of the fact that you are in control of your physical form, his voice comes very heavily, the bass kind of kicking into your left ear.
Indeed. We do require allies. I would have you prove friendship.
And as he kind of takes and moves his shoulder away, you find yourself kind of torso moving towards him. You lock eyes with him, and he has this kind of knowing grin, his lids taut slightly with this kind of condescending sense of knowing. I need you to go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
21.
21. You feel there's an extension of just the sheer force, some unnatural force of charisma that attempts to penetrate beyond the usual slippery mind. The effect is left you unaffected by whatever he was attempting to try.
Ooh.
There's a brief moment as he kind of looks you over.
What do you need?
Yes. That's so smart.
There now. Be a good boy.
Looks over. I need you to make a deception check.
Great, that's 15.
15, okay. So they're both kind of just looking you over. Lord Briarwood's kind of just walking back and forth and keeping a very keen eye. He kind of walks between you and the door as you stand there. Almost like he's waiting for a reaction of some kind, for you to initiate something.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What can I do to help? I'm pretty meager a servant, but anything you need, whatever you need. Gosh, you guys are good looking.
What do you think, my love? Lord Briarwood comes up from behind, his hands on the back of your shoulder, and says,
Like we said, you haven't the gift of the silver tongue. But I applaud your effort.
Well, my mom and dad said I'm a real good speaker. They paid for like a tutor to teach me how to talk, and it's worked out really well for me in my life. So if you need like an ambassador or like a butler who talks, I could do that for you.
Lady Briarwood at this point is kind of a couple steps closer, still about 15 feet from you.
Yeah.
And he's right behind you, like
me.
between you and the door.
Yeah.
She steps forward and kind of looks over at her husband again and goes, So, what do you think? Can we trust him? And Lord Briarwood kind of leans forward, and you can feel like his chin kind of peeking into your peripheral vision.
I'm afraid not. It seems.
Well, here's the thing you need to know about Uriel. And I take a step back.
Into him?
No, or
He's like
away.
He's between
Away.
you and the door.
Well, does he hold me if I turn? Well, I just said that,
All
right?
right.
Here's the thing about Uriel.
As you go to move
Try to
away,
pivot.
his arms, they're on your shoulder,
Yeah.
just kind of tighten and flex and hold you in place.
Shall we?
And she gives a nod and goes, I think we shall.
Can I roll for initiative?
We're now rolling for initiative. You take 6 points of piercing damage as suddenly you feel 2 extremely sharp, warm prongs jut in the side of your throat.
Oh, they are!
And there's the bite. Up until this point, it wasn't known that Silas Briarwood was a vampire. It was only merely suspected. Like in the campaign, Vax, after being bitten, makes a beeline out the window, falling several floors to the courtyard below. Quick side note, I completely forgot that Matt used to draw many of his maps. I got so used to the crazy maps he builds later on in the life of CR that I forgot. The drawing of the bedroom just really took me off guard. Props to the animators though, they even got the canopy bed right. As Vax falls, he uses his magical earpiece to contact the group, giving him the code word, Jenga. While in the animation, they wait for him to land before he says it. Vax falls and is pursued by the Briarwoods, who attack him until he falls unconscious. We get this really beautiful scene in the campaign from Vax's player Liam as he falls unconscious that wasn't in the animated show, and I really wish they could have put it in. Let's just have a look at it.
That's a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use cunning action, rogue's cunning action, to disengage,
Mm-hmm.
which means nobody can swipe at me if I run.
Correct.
Okay. There's a window. Last week you said there was a window to the courtyard.
There are 2 windows on each side of the room right there.
Okay. I am running straight at the window. And as I run, I just, past them. Don't go anywhere near her. And I'm using dash.
As your action.
Yeah, and I'm just leaping out the window and saying, Jenga.
Fireball! No, I'm just kidding.
As you run past, you can see there's this moment where it's almost like they're just kind of letting it happen. There's no momentary aggression or frustration to this as you dart and out the window, falling from the 2nd story. Everyone else, you hear Jenga whispered through. Those of you who have the earrings on.
He's in trouble.
Game time!
Let's go.
Wait, where
what's
are you?
going on?
And now we hear shattering glass, don't we?
Do we hear
Not
it?
from this part in the palace. You're too far away from
I
it.
start running towards the door to grab weapons,
Me
and
too.
I'm saying into my ear, "Where are you? What's going on?"
Okay. 34 points of necrotic damage.
I'm unconscious.
What? Already?
As that happens, and as my consciousness fades away, I don't say anything, but here's what I think in a split second.
Okay.
Okay? I think of my friends that I've spent so much time with. I think of Keyleth. Beautiful. Walking under the trees. I think of my twin sister as a young girl, folding linens with our mother. I think of my sister as an adolescent in lessons, smarter than me. I think of the woman that she grew into, hiking over many, many, many miles together. My best friend, Vexalia. And before I can think no more, I say a prayer to Sarenrae to watch over my friends and keep them safe.
What an emotional scene. Liam really is a gem. But enough of that, let's get into the battle. Unlike in the animation, Scanlan is actually present for this fight. In the show, it's Pike who heals Vax, while in the campaign, it was Scanlan and his jaunty tunes. Still, there was a lot of little details which they kept, and it really pleasantly surprised me. For example, Keela starting the fight in her bird form, and a lot of the voice lines in this battle are taken basically right out of the campaign.
Lord Briarwood above kind of standing over what looks to be a small cluster of cloth. The source of the dread kind of takes over.
I scream.
Vengeance at what apparently seems to be your twin brother at death's door. You pull the arrow from the back of your quiver as you feel like the energy gather from the atmosphere around you. While the energy itself is like a blue crackling energy, you just see it as bright, vibrant, crimson red.
Natural 20! Yes! Inspired by my brother!
You certainly invoked the fury tonight. Bro.
It's real.
Moment to have it. All right, go ahead.
She loves me. She really
This is against Lady Briarwood.
Nice.
Follow up on that.
This is yes, of course.
All right,
it
go
is.
for it.
17 times 2 is 34,
Hunter's Mark.
plus his Hunter's Mark damage, which is another fucking 6.
Jesus.
40, no,
She
38
would like to
damage.
raise.
Much
You take 66 points of necrotic damage.
Oh.
As a sickly beam of black energy just streaks out from her finger, plows into your torso, and you feel as if your soul is temporarily pulled from a portion of your body. For a second there, your eyes glance past the threshold of death, and you manage to pull yourself back in.
Fuck.
So, who wants to do
I'm
things
going first.
All right, what you
Fucking
got?
shit. I'll use my bonus action first to cast Healing Word on Vax.
Okay.
Oh, that Vax felt back a bit by vampires, and his skin's turning pale and white. But yeah, don't worry, he's around the corner.
What's going on?
Here comes Scanlan, everything's gonna be alright.
I'm going insane.
Consciousness comes to you, breath comes into your chest, and you can feel the cold, wet grass against the left side of your face. Your vision begins to clarify for a second, and you kind of look up over, and you can see immediately to the right of you both Lord and Lady Briarwood standing over you, kind of looking down with one half of their gaze, the other paying attention to this.
They're looking at me.
They're kind of looking down at you and kind of glancing at this slowly encroaching circle of assailants.
All right, first shot.
Against who?
Silas!
30 to hit.
Yeah, that'll...
Rock his shit.
It's about to feel so good.
God, mercy!
Such a turn on.
Decleat this motherfucker.
So that's the first shot. So as you... the shot echoing out across the night sky of Iman, Lord Briarwood, who is currently kind of staring down at you, is coming to consciousness, and you can see under his breath, he says,
Oh, there's no way out tonight, friend.
and kind of begins to lean forward before the back of his shoulder is racked by a sudden impact. You see all the material just spatter out with some sort of dark crimson. He looks over his shoulder with anger, and you can see at that point, glistening across the moonlight, the sharpened fangs visible at the edge of his mouth. He says it loudly enough for you to hear, but this voice now, you see Lord Briarwood says,
Would you look at that, dear? The pup yet lives.
a big chunk of flesh is just blown off, and you can see the bone beneath. As the first arrow comes by, she kind of leans to the side and just dodges it a little bit. The second one comes towards her, and Lord Briarwood kind of deflects it out from in front of her and kind of gives you a look of like, don't you dare touch my woman. You can see Silas's flesh is reforming and healing rapidly from the damage he's taken. Actual tendons are forming back up from the blast damage he's taken, kind of looking at you with this slight grin. 18, all right. You feel like the actual wound from the blade is attempting to draw some force from your body, but you just flex and kind of whatever arcane enchantment is resisted. Turns around for a second swipe.
21.
Yeah, once again, just there's some sort of enchantment that's trying to pull from the wounds as it hits you, and you just kind of grin them off with this chuckle.
There was a ton of gems here all throughout the fight scene that I honestly didn't even know were direct lines on my first watching. They changed a decent amount of the fight scene, from the impact of Lady Briarwood's disintegration spell to Lord Briarwood's sword Craven Edge. Obviously, the show has to be faster paced than the D&D combat, but I do think it's really cool they show off a lot of Craven Edge's abilities early on in kind of a teaser. We didn't get much of this until way later. The final scene with Percy, though, was a great decision in storytelling. The scene with the carriage driver is just as intense in the campaign, but in the animated show, they really combined a bunch of different scenes throughout the campaign to make it into this one really crazy badass moment. Let's take a look.
As you guys rush around the corner, you can see on the very edge of the cobblestone walkway, the carriage that they came in is now gaining speed and heading down.
Right now, I'm going to try and take out the way.
At this point, the carriage slams onto the side of the ground and skids to a halt in the middle of the ice. The sleet's still spackling down as you guys all have turn the corner now as you approach. And she kind of goes, at the very least, I think you should come visit us sometime, Percy. You're always welcome back home. And they both vanish in a swirl of arcane energy.
I want to walk over to the carriage driver.
Can you sense where they are?
You walk over to the carriage driver, who is currently on the ground. This young man who is horribly hurt. Part of his torso is burned, and he's like, please spare my life, please.
What do you know?
About what?
I shoot him in the right hand.
It's an easy enough hit. He's prone before you. 3 of his fingers are blown off, and the kind of bloody stumps shaking it. I'm sorry. Look.
You're from Whitestone, yes?
You don't know what it's like. I have no choice.
Well, you do now. I reload again and put it on his left hand. Just taking straight chest shots, and I'm just firing chest shots, and I'm just making a hole the size of a baseball in his chest. And as it happens, as I keep unloading, the gun still breaks, and I'm still pulling the trigger. You fool, your soul is forfeit! Die! Die! I'm gonna look at the other 2 and start pulling out my bigger gun.
Oh, shit.
Make an intimidation check with
And
advantage.
putting on the fucking mask.
With a D6 inspiration dice.
It's a bad day to do your job, son.
He's putting the mask on.
The D6 inspiration.
And advantage. With advantage. And a D6.
Oh, this is
take that one.
embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
17.
Wait,
intimidation 17 and 19.
Where's the pool?
Okay.
So mask, gun, fuck it.
Standing there, smoking giant hole, center of tombstone style, in the center of the chest. Or no, there would be no dripping, except for the cauterization of the heat rounds that exploded in his chest. It is just a blackened, cinderous tube where there once was a chest cavity. The broker kind of...
Honestly, I really love that they combined all of these moments to create this scene. Taliesin yelling "Your Soul is Forfeit" is just so hype, and it really just feels like it deserves to be in this scene. I mean, look at Travis's face here. This man is just straight stun-locked by his friend. Honestly, making this video has made me just realize that I love this show even more. The fact they come through hundreds of hours of D&D goodness for specific voice finds, character actions, and even scenery pieces is just wow. The attention to detail blows me away. Obviously, they put all this in here for the hardcore fans, as well as I think for Matt and the cast themselves. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I had a lot of fun making this video. It's so wild going back to the old campaigns. It's so weird to think that this was like 7-8 years ago. Depending on what we get in future episodes, I might make more videos like this. Let me know if you like that in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out our other Legends of Vox Machina videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. As always, guys, peace, love, adieu.
You fool, your soul is forfeit! Die! Die!